Hello universe, what's up? It's Brown D619. So if any of y'all right now it's 5:19 in the morning, if any of y'all anywhere near radio, you should turn to AM station. Listen to Kogo 640. Uh they talking about the charges that are being brought on that lead officer and the other officers, which is aiding and abetting for the other officers, aiding and abetting unintentional homicide, and they did bump the charges up from a third degree to a second degree. However, they're already on here talking about how hard it's going to be and how hard it is to prosecute in these kinds of cases, right? That also, this lead officer is the first white police officer to ever be charged in a crime or convicted in a crime like this in Minnesota, right? So, as I sit and I listen more, all of them could be facing up to 40 years. Okay, that's the maximum, even for the aiding and abetting unintentional homicide. Okay, good family got an independent autopsy done where they said that the cause of his death was asphyxiation, lack of oxygen to the brain from the pressure on the neck and the pressure on the lungs. Okay, so but this is what I want you guys to understand. The games have already started to be played because the medical examiner for that county that did the medical examination said that his underlying health issues are probably what could have led to him dying, not asphyxiation, cardiac arrest, and something having to do with the arteries, right? Clogged arteries or something weird like that. And then they also now go in to say, and this is breaking news just minutes ago, about 15 minutes ago, this medical examiner has come out to say that he may have also been under the influence of drugs, and they mentioned fentanyl in particular, possibly fentanyl, and they say this may explain the initial call where the caller was saying that he seems to be out of it of some sort, right? So maybe he could have been drunk, or he could have been on some kind of drugs, or using fentanyl. Now, the reason why I bring up fentanyl and it stood out to me is because fentanyl is a drug that will relax the body so much and will relax the lungs so much that this is how people who use heroin and different things like that get a batch that have fentanyl in it, or even just the fentanyl patches from the doctors, when they're abused or used too much, you have too much of it in your system, it can relax the lungs so much that it can cause you to stop breathing. Okay, so they're trying to bring this in here. I don't know anything about any toxicology report about that. When the independent coroner did his report, I don't believe there was anything in there regarding heart disease or drug use or anything like that. So it sounds to me like they're getting their strategy together to try to get this cop acquitted. However, what we do know, whether he was under the influence or not, okay, whatever he was doing, what we do know is that the man was on his neck and pressing into the most fragile part of a man's or a person's body. Okay? It doesn't take long. And there was another officer with the knee in the back, which presses on the lungs. What we do know is that Mr. Floyd said with his last little bit of strength and the last little bit of air that he had that I can't breathe. And he also said, they're going to kill me out here. So in my mind, that's almost like a last declaration from a victim. Now, both medical examiners did rule it a homicide, but the county's medical examiner has all these other things that they're trying to throw up in there, and the independent examiner that the family hired says no, he died from asphyxiation. He was down there 3 minutes. There was no pulse, and you can even hear them say no pulse, okay? So the fact that there was no pulse and you felt that there was no pulse and you still felt the need to keep your knee in his neck, or on his back, and not turn him over to see if you can regain a pulse, makes me feel that it was intentional. When the man said he could not breathe, makes me feel it's intentional, because at no time did you find intention to help him breathe better. And what results from a person not being able to breathe? Lack of oxygen to the brain and death. So y'all go check out Coco 640 on your AM radio station so you can listen to, so you can hear for yourself.